been watching my videos for a few years, you might have seen various people in. I have co-workers.
You've got your companions.
Yeah, and I still have company. John's been with me quite a while, one of the first people to join me.
Yeah.
I remember. But he's been on holiday and he took a camera with him, and he's been to America and he's been to Canada, and he's subjected his family. He's accidentally, coincidentally, gone to all these places near disused railways and interesting railway locations. So we've got a series of videos. John's took some footage and I'll put them out. So, wait, where's the first one from?
It's going to be Haliburton County Rail Trail.
Haliburton's in the fish?
Haliburton, yes, a bit like the fish, yes.
Oh, right, okay.
Haliburton.
So,
not Halibut, Haliburton.
And over to Canada, and John's nothing to do with fish though, is it?
Nothing to do with fish, no.
Fish. Nothing to do with fish. Over to Canada, Ontario, Canada.
So hello, it's John here, and a warm welcome to the Wobbly Runner Exploring YouTube channel. So you might wonder, where's Paul? Well, he's not in Canada, which is where I am, and I'm here in Haliburton, Ontario to make a couple of videos for the channel. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy this one. So where am I? Well, Haliburton. So that's around about 3 hours north of Toronto, out here in Canada, and I'm outside Haliburton railway station, which is obviously disused, but it's now an art gallery. So they've got a wonderful board here which tells you a little about the railway that was in Haliburton, part of the Grand Trunk Pacific Railway system, and you can see a timeline here. Trains originally got here in 1878, with passenger services being discontinued in 1961, and then all freight services were discontinued in 1978. So the railway here was open for exactly 100 years. So today we're going to be following the Haliburton County Rail Trail for some of the way. It's I think it's about a 30-kilometre walk, the whole thing. We're not going to do that, we haven't got time, but we're just going to show you some of the highlights and hopefully make an interesting video. One of the first things to show you is this goods wagon, just parked out here outside Haliburton railway station. You can see it's in, well, not the best condition, but still nice to see some of these left here as exhibition items. You know, kids love to come and see this kind of stuff, so yeah, pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to see. Just show you some of the detail in here. No idea what this black thing is here. If anyone can tell me, let me know. It's not part of the wagon. But yeah, there you go. So there you go, that's the front view of the station, Haliburton, it says on it. In a second I'll just take you around and show you the side. Obviously this station's quite a different design to anything we'd come across in the UK. I guess wooden construction. You can see around here, this, I don't believe this is the original platform at all. It's all been re-landscaped. I believe the station was relocated around about 20 feet, but yeah, it is a brilliant structure. And you can see there the Haliburton sign, plus also the one of the destinations, Lindsay, further down the line, is really beautiful. It's great to see that it's being used as an art gallery these days. And in terms of what there was here, well, there was actually an engine shed, which was actually on this lawn. Well, not on this lawn, but in the area this lawn occupies. There was an engine shed, there's a turntable. There was also a goods shed, which was located to the right here. I'm not sure if it was this building, probably not, but it was certainly located after the station there. Okay, so you don't have to go very far from Haliburton railway station to find this awesome caboose, or I think as we call it in the UK, brake van. Here you can see it's Canadian National, CN, obviously one of the primary railway companies still in existence in Canada. You might have heard of the CN Tower in Toronto. Obviously that's where the CN comes from. And I had a very lucky experience where I was able to go to the Toronto Railway Museum earlier in this holiday, and they've got a giant turntable there with a roundhouse, and they have some tours there you can do, and I got to go in one of these cabooses, which is pretty awesome. Obviously, anyone's familiar with UK railways will know the brake vans that we had. This is very similar purpose, brake van, also rest stop for the rest area for the crew, and they also used it obviously for sighting, to check the ends of the trains. Obviously some of these trains were absolutely massive in terms of their length, and they still are, but you can see the sighting area there at the top. Just show you the other side of the caboose, and just coming around here. Great to see the pride that the Canadians take in their railway history and also their military history. Lots of things on display for people to come and see, just completely free. Obviously gives a little bit of tourism boost to these kind of little towns, and yeah, awesome. Just love that so much. To show some of the detail in this end, you can see here caboose presented by Canadian National Railroad and the Rotary Club of Haliburton I think it was in 1978 actually, to celebrate that centenary of 1878. Might have got that wrong, but we'll find out. Just show you a bit more of the detail in here. There you go. So here we are, we're at the start of the Haliburton County Rail Trail. Just turn you around and you'll see we've got the lake there, and we're just going to head on down this path and explore some of this awesome rail trail. It is, as I say, over 30 clicks long. I'm not going to have time on this holiday to do that. I'm being told it's a little bit midgy, and also there's not that much to see. It is a fairly sanitised trail, as we've come used to seeing some of those trails in the UK as well, haven't we? So just come off the trail now to show you a slightly better view of this lake in Haliburton. It is known as the Head Lake, and it is just, yeah, what an awesome place. It's a great place to come. I think a lot of people come here and retire, and yeah, it's very chilled, just what I need. So just continue on now along the rail trail, just heading out of Haliburton, and it is following the lake shore and following the main road that goes through the town. Just to tell you a little bit about the Toronto Railway Museum that I went to. It is awesome. It is largely free, a lot of exhibits outside. It's a bit of an old roundhouse. It's around about, I think it's about 270-degree coverage, over 30 sheds it had, and it's massive. It's big enough to get a couple of giant North American locos on the turntable they've got there, and they do tours, and you can also pay to go inside and have a look inside. A very small engine house actually, but yeah, awesome experience. If you're ever in Toronto, in Ontario, in Canada, I highly recommend it. It is in the shadow of the CN Tower, so you can't miss it. And there's also a little brewery on site as well called the Steam Whistle Brewery. Does some great Pilsner style lager. Might have had one or two of those, and that's actually part of the Roundhouse building. So yeah, highly recommend that if you're ever lucky enough to be in this part of the world. So how beautiful is this? Just a great start to this this rail trail. Awesome. So you can see we're coming a little bit further along the trail, just out of Haliburton, and we've come to the Haliburton village sign. So I'll just show you that there. Haliburton Village, founded 1864. Okay, so we're going to walk a bit further out of Haliburton now. There's a couple of special things to show you. This trail has been going for probably a kilometre and a half, something like that, since we saw the station at Haliburton, and we're just walking forward here. I'll just swing you around. Okay, so very pleasant walk so far. Lovely day here in Canada. About 22, 23 degrees, just perfect walking weather. So I'll see you in a second. So just swinging you around as we cross over. The trail here crosses the main road and continues on over in that distance you can see there. But what do we have there? You can just see, seems to be some kind of plane. So as you can see, we have a plane here. It's a jet fighter. It's Avro CF-100, I believe. Obviously flown by the Royal Canadian Air Force there, and the number A683. So yeah, we know the Canadians, they love their military history, and they're often sighting military vehicles, military planes, you know, to remember the times that have gone before. But actually we have one other thing to show you, which I'm not quite sure if you can see at a distance, but it seems like there's some kind of loco over there. Let's go and take a look. So just before we look at the loco, just going to get a sense of scale of this plane. It is actually pretty big, even though it's only a small jet fighter. Look, here we go. Here's some history about the plane. So one of the things we've seen a lot of actually is these in Canada is these Canadian geese. I guess it's no surprise really, but they are literally everywhere. So right, that's a plane. Sorry, no, it's not. That's a train. It's a loco. But there seems to be someone there already who's looking at it. Who could that be? Oh, it's that troublesome wife of mine. So it's always hard to get over the scale of these US or Canadian locomotives. They are just massive. This is Canadian National 2616. Canadian National, one of the biggest Canadian railway companies, and of course famous for the CN Tower. I didn't realise until I did this trip that CN in the CN Tower stood for Canadian National. So I think my wife might be doing a little bit of geocaching, one of her favourite pastimes. To have a look at this beast in a bit more detail. So yeah, there's the old cattle prodder, push them off the track. Yeah, obviously a real problem here. And look at that, massive front light. Take you around to look at some of the pistons here and the working wheels and the engine gear. It's an impressive sight. I'll tell you a little bit about the history of this loco in a little bit. So obviously these North American trains, they always just remind me of Back to the Future Part 3. I think I saw that when I was, about 10 or 11, and I just never seen any trains like that before, and yeah, they are awesome, absolutely awesome. Just gonna have a little look here at some of the profile of the rails here, and also you can see here some markings, and if you can see that, this is Barrow steel. What you can also see here actually, which I'll just show you, is how they attach the rails over in North America to the track. So they use these track pins, which you can sometimes still see in place on the trails. So there's a track pin there as well. It's a slightly different, obviously, system to what we used in the UK. But yeah, obviously things have evolved differently in different countries. Yeah, giving you a really close-up look here, you can see the track pins and the way that they attach the rails. It's actually a lot more of a basic system, but I guess if you think about it, if you think about the distances they had to make these railroads, you know, just anything they could do to save costs, I guess, keep it simple. Perhaps comfort wasn't the top of their priorities. So it says on here Franklin reverse gear type E, and it's a schedule number, and I'll have to actually make out the schedule number, but yeah, if anyone knows any more information about this, let me know. So as I said, just a couple of facts about this lovely locomotive. It was commissioned in 1911 with the original number of 767 and for use with the Grand Trunk Railway. Later on, its number changed to 2616, which is what you can see on the front of the locomotive as it stands. And finally it went out of service in 1959, making its last journey from Lindsay to Belleville on the 7th of January 1959. So my wife has decided that the geocache that actually isn't on the train is actually located about 10 metres off the train. So she's out of shot now, so I can actually show you the loco and the plane in their lovely situation here. And then if we go over this direction here, you can see how we're going to follow the trail across there and off into the distance. Holy moly, you don't want to be facing that coming down the tracks towards you with nowhere to get off the trails. So here we are, Gould Crossing. Just stopped here so Mrs. John can do a little bit of geocaching. Sorry if my voice is a little bit gruff, but yeah, I just got a bit of a cold here, picked up in Canada. So here we are, Gould Crossing. As you can see, it's just a dirt track really, this trail. Used really actually by cyclists, walkers and also ATV vehicles, and then interestingly in the winter it's a very active snowmobile trail. This area, Haliburton, does get a lot of snow in the winter. It's actually a ski resort. They wouldn't believe it now with this gorgeous sky here. And just to prove what we were just saying about snowmobiles, so I have to say that this trail, this scenery, it does give you definite twilight vibes, maybe vibes of the X-Files. Not quite sure, but just a little bit of history, or a little bit about the trail. I guess it does extend 35 kilometres from Haliburton to Kinmount. It's called the Haliburton County Rail Trail, and it then turns into the Victoria Rail Trail, which is then another 55 kilometres south, almost all the way to Lake Ontario here in the beautiful country of Canada. The Mighty Lynn's master geocacher at work. So I've now hit quite a sharp bend in the railroad, and I think what we've learned so far from this trip, both in Canada and in the US, is they're not shy of a sharp bend in their tracks. As you can see here, this is what you tend to get on this trail. Long, straight sections with lots of forest either side. Phew. It's warming up. So what's your thoughts on the rail trail so far, Lindsay?
Yeah, it's a rail trail.
I think my thoughts are it's
I think John's a bit unhappy about the lack of metalwork and gubbins left over, artefacts left in the bush.
no artefacts, no clues so far. So here we are, continuing along the Haliburton County Rail Trail. It's not a great deal to see on this walk, to be honest with you. It is a lot of long, flat, straight sections, but we are now coming into another settlement called Donald. We just need to be a bit careful here because I think we're going to hit some ATVs on the trail. Just going to get off the trail now and you get a chance to see these. So yeah, that's one of the hazards of this trail. We've not only seen quad bikes, we've also seen some little 4x4 buggies as well. So you do have to be a bit careful on the out churning up the land. So I'll just swing you around and you can see Donald, really small settlement. We're just coming through now, and here we are, whew, heading down the trail. So just a couple more shots here of Donald. We come up to, I guess, what used to be a level crossing, railroad crossing I guess they call them. And here I can see the trail just extends out into the distance. Not going to take that path. I am using the car, cheating a little bit on this walk. But yeah, we're going to come up to Donald Crossing just about now. So Donald Crossing, not a great deal to see, I'm afraid. And you can see the trail goes on into the distance over there. Just swing around so you can get a bit of a feel for just how small these locations are. Now, one thing you will see just around this corner is what was a disused industrial complex here. It was derelict for quite some time, but it's now actually just recently been repurposed into the charcoal house, Canada. Not quite sure exactly what that is, but yeah, you used to be able to go and investigate that, but not anymore. It's obviously now in full use. So yeah, I'm going to sign off from this location now and take you on to the next location, which is along the trail. I think it's Ritchie Falls, so I'll see you there in a bit. So I've been on the trail now for quite some time, and it's time, I think, to maybe take a rest. And oh, look what we've got here, a little bench. Actually, you can see where we've been here so far. So starting off at Haliburton, 15k, and then Gould's Crossing, you saw that as well, and then Donald, and we're roughly halfway along the trail, and you can see the next stop is going to be Ritchie Falls, followed by Galert, if I'm pronouncing that right, and then Kinmount, and I hope to show you some of Kinmount a bit later on. But yeah, looks like we can get to take a rest here. Just show you where we've been, swinging back round. See, it's a long straight trail. You can hear some cars, it's because we are now running parallel, as we have been for some time, to the Highway 1. So we'll be running parallel to that for a while, but soon enough the trail will sort of curve off to the left and head towards Ritchie Falls, and then leave Highway 1 behind. You can see here we're just getting to a crossing which is actually the Ritchie Falls Road, and we'll be heading to Ritchie Falls in 1 second. There's Ritchie Falls Road, and I'm just going to take you over this little crossing here again. I guess that would have been a railroad crossing back in the day. Obviously a very minor road, crossing there, and you can see here a little bit more information about the rail trail. We just avoid some midges, step down here. You can see we start up there at Haliburton, and we've gone all the way down through down to here, to I think now this point. Here we are, Ritchie Falls Road, and you can see, as I say, the trail comes away from Highway 1 at this point, heads back down to Gillert, if I've got it right, and then there's an interesting point coming up, which is Howland, where there is a Trestle bridge, and finally down to the end of this trail at Kinmount, where it joins onto the Victoria Trail. Oh yeah, now just trying to get a little bit more footage here, but just the midges are a bit everywhere actually. And I've been told May and June is the worst month. I'm actually here in August, but gosh, yeah, a bit midgy action here. So we're just about to head towards Ritchie Falls, but I just thought I'd show you that although this is generally quite a level railroad, built through level terrain, there is some evidence of both cut-ins and also some embankments, and we're just about to enter in a very, very small embankment area. Just switch you around so you can see just down there, it's a little bit of an embankment. They've built it up. Coming around to this side here, you can see, yep, obviously built up. There's a little bit of a ditch down there, so this area is obviously coming up towards a slight incline here, and coming up towards Ritchie Falls. So we'll take you there in a second to show you that next feature on this railway line. You're not joking about that, bloody ATVs everywhere. Right, so here we are approaching Ritchie Falls. Just you can hear the waterfalls in the distance. Just swap you around there. So yeah, so it's not a great deal to see on this line, as I said before, but yeah, Ritchie Falls is one of the stopping points, a bit of a point of interest. Okay, so whilst it's not exactly Niagara Falls, it is a little bit of a point of interest. Just got to be careful here as I step over this wet rock. Not sure if we can get any closer to that waterfall there. Oh, but yeah, this is Ritchie Falls. Right, so I'm not going to get much closer, but yeah, you can see that. That's actually quite impressive. So yeah, whilst, as I say, it ain't exactly Niagara Falls, there is one distinct advantage. It's just me here and a load of midges. Yeah, you don't want to fall into that. And if you just look up there, there is quite a force going on up there, so we'll go and check that out, and then we'll call this location quits. So here we are at the most impressive falls, but unfortunately, or most impressive part of the falls, but unfortunately they decided they're going to build a road bridge over the force itself. So yeah, I'll go and get a clip of that up there in a second, but yeah, it is a little bit annoying, probably why it's not the best tourist attraction in the region. So here we are, just over that bridge. You can see it here. It's a little road bridge, nothing special. But yeah, the falls and the impressiveness of the falls are somewhat hidden by this bridge. There you go. That's Ritchie. So here we are, approaching the very, very cute Howland Trestle Bridge. This is crossing the Burnt River. It's quite unlike any bridge that we've come across in the UK. It's probably seen better days, actually, as you can see by some of this rotted wood on the platform. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful location here. Let's just pan you around to show you a bit around. It's a very, very cute bridge. So now we're only about 3 or 4 kilometres from the termination of this trail at Kinmount. I'm going to head on to there in a bit and check out I think the remains, well, quite intact remains of the station building there, and that'll be the end of this journey. The trail does continue, or a different trail continues, called the Victoria Trail, continues further south, but we haven't got time to do that on this holiday. So yeah, we'll see you down at Kinmount. So as you can see, we've arrived at the final place of Kinmount on this Haliburton County Rail Trail. So just swing around there. That's where the trail came from. Swing around to see a little bit of this little village, and we're going to take a walk up here to check out Kinmount Restored Station on this line. Anyone for fish and chips? Kinmount Fish and Chip Shop. So yeah, so it has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour of this disused railway line. I haven't walked the whole thing. In fact, I've hardly walked 10% of it. Most of it's been jumping into the car, getting out, doing some filming, and then restarting. But I'm only here for a couple of days in Haliburton, so Haliburton County, so not a lot of time, to do it properly. But yeah, we're just going to pull into the station in about 1 minute's time. So here you go, Kinmount station. 23 miles it says back to Haliburton. This is actually a railroad museum. It's got a model railway. I don't think it functions in there, but unfortunately it's not open today. It's next open tomorrow, which is Saturday. But yeah, unfortunately we won't be able to get to that, but it's been done up really smartly, and you can see it's the same design as the station at Haliburton. Very, very similar, and I love the way they have that board there where it shows the station name, and it shows the next main stops. Lindsay, 34 miles to the south. A few bits there to show you. Some bogey there, and yeah, there we had some points gear, I think, perhaps. Just take you around here. There's the back of the museum. Yeah, lovely building. Right, so that's me signing out. Goodbye from John. I hope you enjoyed this little explore in Canada. Hoping to do one more before I leave. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you on the next one. Take care.